The Kinks, low budget, right now on States and Kingdoms.
A lot of people seem to be split on the Kinks 70s records.
Right in half.
No. It seems like, the people that love their 60s records, that listen to them in the 60s, seem to think that their 70s stuff,
Drop off?
yeah, was a downgrade. They're not that crazy about it. They kind of leave it alone. This is a generalization.
Of
course, because there are plenty of people, I'm sure, that listen to everything.
And we didn't talk to everybody.
No, I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to you. The 70s, people heard them in the 70s.
For the first time.
Generally seem to like it. They really, really love these albums. A number of them, And then the people that grew up sort of in our time, if they listen to the Kinks, which they don't.
We're Zoomers.
They seem to follow the 60s people more. They really just act like these albums never happened. Everything after Lola versus the Power Man, maybe Muswell Hillbillies, is ignored.
Yeah, I don't even know if people listen to that.
And it's interesting because we both, you first started listening to the Kinks, and I followed you. And
I said, come on, join me.
Anyway, we really, really went into a just pure Kinks mode for a while.
It was a downward spiral of the Kinks.
All the 60s stuff. Arthur was
the first.
Big deal.
The first album I got, and I loved it.
And then it was sort of like Muswell Hillbillies, and it was kind of like, it's like you're at a precipice there. It's like, do you keep going? And you went into Preservation.
I did.
I skipped over Preservation.
You did.
Of course, I didn't mention everybody's in showbiz, but, But, I skipped over Preservation. Skipped over.
You went further than me.
I went straight to soap opera and all the albums after. And that includes this.
You got into those, way earlier than I did.
I liked them a lot. A lot. And I remember getting this. I had got this from the library. On the CD. It was original, old CD. And I just thought it was great. The Misfits was my favorite. And we've already talked about the Misfits.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a really good album. And I thought it sounded really good. It was interesting. The songs were really interesting. It had all the Kinks kind of essentials, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because it's really got some kind of special energy going throughout.
It just kind of spins off energy when you put it on.
Yeah, and I don't want to compare it to other bands, but if you compare it to other bands that were at a similar, age and, similar place in their career as the Kinks, and you put this next to those other albums, this has such a great, youthful energy. It feels very much of its time. It is very much 1979. But it also, it sounds like the Kinks. It's not them trying to be something they're not.
Right.
Or taking on some kind of, new thing that... It's hard to explain, but when you listen to it, it's perfect. It's the Kinks in 1979.
Yeah.
And somehow they get it so right. It's just... It sounds really fresh.
A couple of things you said, it's hard to talk about because it's not so simple, but it is interesting. You hear traces of certain, other bands maybe, influence. Maybe he was listening to, we said Squeeze or the Cars or even the Ramones. Blondie maybe, I don't know. But they all listen to the Kinks, so it's really difficult.
It's like a circular thing.
These are bands that they helped create in the first place. Right. So it's really
cool.
It's interesting.
It's really cool.
It's an interesting album in that way. It everything comes full circle. But anyway, it opens with Attitude. It does sound a little bit like Who Are You? Their version of Who Are You, a little bit.
Yeah, because it's got the who.
But typical for Ray Davies.
It's still different enough.
It's a little bit more ambiguous. Who exactly is he talking to? Exactly.
Me. No.
because you always read, "Who are you?" It's about the
punks.
punks and whatnot, and that's not what Ray Davies is directing this toward.
No, it's to Pete Townsend.
Or who he's directing.
He's talking to Pete Townsend.
Or whom he's directing it toward.
You're talking about grammar. You're having like a grammar conversation with yourself, and you missed my joke.
It's all about Pete Townsend. That's funny. Anyway.
Who?
Anyway, it's a great song. I mean, it establishes that there's just a ton of energy, and Dave's guitar is going to be incendiary.
It really...
Yeah, I'm incendiary too.
It really does set off the album with a bang.
Yeah.
It's really... It's like a hard rocking song.
Yeah, it is.
It's really got some cojones.
Yeah, it's a sing-along, get your blood pumping kind of song. It's really good. But it does have something that this album does have, and through all of it, except for maybe one track, you know, the Ray Davies lyrics and his ability to tell stories is almost, I don't know, second to none.
Yeah.
I think it's second to none. I'll say that. It is. I think it is.
Yeah. Catch Me Now, I'm Falling.
I really like this song, and you know, I'm really upset that the Rolling Stones ripped off this riff for Jumpin' Jack Flash. How dare they? But,
I didn't hear it.
But it's still a great song. It's still a really great song, and
I like Dave Davies.
It's, you know, him singing as America is a really interesting thing. Because
Ray takes on the weight of the world.
Who does that? Who has done that? What non-American
Nobody
has sung as America, especially in such a caring way. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really good.
Because that's where all his fans live.
Oh, I know. Because it's kind of true. I mean, this album didn't chart in England. He has to
sing to us.
They had a lot of success in the United States. The U.S. loved the Kinks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really loved the Kinks. Always did. I mean,
which is funny because they couldn't tour for so long.
I know, but
imagine how big they would have been.
Always so beloved here.
That kills me. That's really frustrating.
We haven't even mentioned, of course, the theme on this album, and there is a running theme.
Prostitution.
What?
Oh, I thought because it looks prostitute-y.
No, it's just low budget.
A low-class prostitute.
But you know, I thought we would do this album because you know we've been to the gas station, and it's kind of fitting. You know, this album's sort of apropos again.
Yeah, I'm feeling low budget. Pressure.
This is like hyper Chuck Berry with touches of the Ramones to me.
The Ramones-y part is mostly the kind of call and response. Yes.
The verses have a tinge of Ramones to me.
Yeah, it's there.
It's a really good song. I mean, it's you know, certainly very energetic. The subject of the song was about pressure.
A pressure cooker.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Ray Davies could write about things in such a great way, you know. We say that for every song.
No, it's true. Yeah, he's amazing.
His ability to write, and this not necessarily for this song, but his ability to write about serious subjects in a way that is both, you know, full of pathos and humor. Yeah, it's more akin to, I mean, almost like some of the great lyricists of the past, whether it's like Cole Porter or Dorothy Fields or you know, and also of course John Sebastian.
Yes.
Who must have inspired him to continue. He had already kind of started down that, you know.
Yeah, welcome back.
Because the pithy lyrics, you know, full of humor and
sadness and despair.
It's something John Sebastian could do really well. Also, you know, just with that folkiness, mm-hmm. and Ray Davies really mastered that.
He did.
And so I'm just gonna say, I'll say that now because that applies to really every song here.
All right, and don't say it again.
Yeah, I won't say it again.
All right.
Don't say anything.
National health. National Health. This is one of those songs that feels very much like situated in its age.
It sounds like a number of older Ray Davies things, though.
Well,
it's got that
all of it has that Ray Davies sound.
Borderline, to me, like almost borderline calypso kind of sound that he would pull from often enough.
With the synthesizer added in.
I like the song a lot. I think it's very catchy.
He has a way of writing about topical things that are not so obviously topical. Like they're not dated.
Well, it's not really topical. It's, I mean, in a way, I mean, it's sort of just modern problems.
Yeah.
Nervous tension.
Wish I could fly like Superman. This is interesting because there's many superhero references on this album.
The two.
It's a lot.
For an album not written by Andy Partridge.
That's a lot.
I love this song. And, it's funny, I was thinking about this before. The time that we grew up in, if you were a huge rock and roll fan, you still had to kind of hate disco. Disco was still something that you were supposed to be embarrassed by it. It was like a very bad thing that you didn't want to associate with at all. So I still carry that with me.
It's in there.
But this is such a clever use of that, of a disco
beat.
song. I mean, as opposed to a number of other groups, we won't name names, Rolling Stones, Beach Boys, that did, Blondie, that did
more
sort
straight
of
down the line
disco songs. This is such a clever, not subversion exactly, but almost subversion of that sound. And it's such a good song. And it lyrically, wonderful. Wonderful song.
Both humorous and pathetic.
Stop talking about it.
Low budget, title track. Go. This has a little bit of an AC/DC sound in the way that he's singing it.
Oh, that's interesting. Dave Davies' guitar on this.
His guitar is great.
Is great.
Yeah.
He could always get that snarl in the sound. He really is. He's such
underrated forever.
He's underrated as a songwriter. Incredibly so. But I guess so as a guitar player, he's just great.
Yeah, we saw Dave Davies in concert.
Yeah, we saw him at the World Trade Center in like July of 2001.
Yeah, right. It was August.
Yeah,
it was literally weeks before September 11th. It was crazy. That was the last time that I was at the Twin Towers.
It wasn't our fault.
A lot of this album has a real heaviness to it. Like
yeah,
Kinks,
it does.
Heavy, hard rock kind of thing. It sounds like the Kinks, but it's got a real.
Yeah, it's not. And that's the thing. It's not them like returning to something. It really is.
It's just them
taking some of what they maybe were doing in like '65 and reinventing it. And it's really like a reinvention in a lot of ways.
It's really interesting.
It lasted for a few records, and really good records. And we were saying before that the Kinks have an almost unprecedented run of great albums.
Yeah, they do.
I don't consider them to have a weak album, and I'll leave Percy out of this because it's such a totally idiosyncratic album and soundtrack. And it wasn't released in the United States anyway. So, from 64 to this...
Yeah. No weaknesses.
What really what is there that you couldn't consider good in a space?
Well, the first thing you notice on this one is that sweet harmony by Dave in the background.
He was really a tenor.
He really was. Is. Of course.
This is a really interesting song. I'm not sure what to say about this. It's this song about the infinite and the world and the universe, and it's in this
kind of
rock song. It's in this very kind of just upbeat,
a little funky
rock
light,
song.
Yeah.
Instead of some sort of massive,
it's the dichotomy. It's the juxtaposition.
Meandering, sweet It's just interesting. I mean, I think it's.
It subverts your expectations.
No, it doesn't. It's really good and lyrically very interesting.
A little bit of emotion. This is a nice ballad.
When it starts, I really immediately it's kind of like, oh, come on.
Why?
What?
Why?
Well, it seems kind of sappy. But it's interesting. This is why, what Ray Davies is why he's so amazing. By the middle of the song, he's got you. I think it's really interesting because when it starts and the whole little bit, some people hide their emotions kind of thing. And it's like, okay, whatever, dude. But by the middle of the song, he's the stories that he's starting to tell, and he could have even taken it further. It starts to really grab you, and it's a good song. It's got a good refrain.
We haven't said yet how good a singer Ray Davies is.
Well,
I mean, he's got a great voice.
Yeah, and I mean,
I love his style.
Entirely his own.
Yeah, but he can sing. He can sing a song like nobody else. He's got a great style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just want to say it.
Yeah, and Jimmy Page didn't play the solo on "You Really Got Me," so there.
No. And those weren't Dave Davies' legs in those fur boots either. Come on. A gallon of gas. A gallon of gas costs $12 billion.
I just love. I mean, this is a cool kind of blues, and it's got a lot of nice touches in it.
No, it really
Good
does.
Melody, and lyrically, the idea of it being easier to get drugs than gas is kind of brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And true.
I enjoy that.
No, the song is great because it takes what you would assume is just a straightforward kind of blues shuffle thing, but it has all these little changes within the song that keep it really interesting, and it just does.
It's not even a long song.
No, but it does more than most people would make it do. Like he adds stuff to it that keeps it really fresh sounding, and it gives it more musicality in my ears. I dig it. Next, Misery.
This is the weakest song on the album, although it opens with a cool guitar part from Dave.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say it's not a weak song, but it's the weakest song. It doesn't develop. I don't know. It doesn't, like, every song on this album does something, goes somewhere. Lyrically, it goes somewhere. It tells you a story. It makes you smile or laugh. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't really do that.
It's also the weakest song on Please Please Me.
It is not. I don't think it harms the album at all. Anyway.
No, it's okay. It fits. It doesn't bother me.
No, yeah.
Moving Picture.
I like this song. This is also kind of like in a space. Sort of very serious subject matter put in a song that does not sound so serious at all.
I like that, though.
To me, in my opinion. So, about life's impermanence.
Yeah, very catchy.
Nice danciness.
It is. It does have a little bit of a disco beat, but it's done really well.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's really an interesting album from such an incredible songwriter. There are a lot of stories on here. He's not, there's a lot on here lyrically. And for In a Space in this, it seems like he understands what rock and roll is. He understands what popular music is, what folk music is. Like, he understands what it is.
And it makes it look easy.
And so he can write these songs. He doesn't try to make them bigger. He doesn't try to make these songs bigger. About whether it's talking about the universe and his place or man's place in it, or life's, fleetingness, mm-hmm. and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the song stays the same size, Yeah,
and again, it doesn't seem... Nothing here... These are all so strong, and nothing here seems like... it's like outside of Ray Davies' abilities. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and
absolutely not.
or as, you know, like an aging rock star,
Yeah, I
so-called.
wouldn't. Yeah, I
There's
wouldn't say
nothing
so.
here that makes you feel that he's losing like anything.
Dave was like 32 years old.
I know, but you know, there's some people around this time that start getting squidgy around the edges, and Ray Davies is not.
No, because they
not
kept
that
they
at
kept
all.
going, and there's some great
There's
stuff
no.
after this.
I mean, we said drop off in the beginning. There really isn't. There's no drop off at all.
No.
There's no slowing down.
I think I prefer the production of Misfits to this. This
I like
album,
these songs a lot, though.
and you know, it's a really cohesive album. The songs all hold together really well. When you listen to it, you know, all together,
Yeah.
it's a really balanced album. And even Misery, which is, I said, you know, like the weakest song on the album, still propels you to the next song.
Yeah,
well,
there's nothing that slows it down. Nothing stops the album.
I mean,
it's really great.
It's a very, very nicely balanced album, I think.
I agree.
And I was a big hit for them in America. It wasn't a hit for them in England.
Well, there you have it. Thank you for watching our brief discussion about Low Budget by the Kinks. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to like this video and consider subscribing to States and Kingdoms. We'll be back next time with another video. They come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so stick around and we'll see you next time.